We are live. Hello, and welcome to the Planetary Call. Everybody, meows up in the chat. Drop a little JM in the chat.
Jam. Let's go.
JM, drop a W, drop a J for J, drop a PPP, drop your favorite meow acronym, your favorite Jupiter acronym in the chat, and let's see what actually ends up winning over here. I see a lot of J for Js, a lot of JMs as expected. All right, we are going to get going here in a second. If it is your first time here, boy, you are in for a good time. This is going to be a fun one today.
It's a good time.
It is a good time. It is a good time. We have myself, Kash, Donda here. We have Meow wearing some new merch. Meow, you want to show off the pink shirt? Look at that, Chef Cat. Pretty good stuff. I have no Jupiter merch. But here, R7X is asking the real question. Where is the lady killer? Where is the lady killer? Soju, if you're watching this at home, where are you, brother? The people want you. It's not just me. It's everybody else as well. We are going to get going here in a second. We're trying to find some top tier creators for the Jupe music label, which might actually end up becoming a thing. We are getting locked in for the giant unified market that I know people are excited about, or certainly I am excited about. And we are LFGing our way to the UpRock launch, which is happening tomorrow. God, there's so many good things happening over here. Let's go ahead and count it down 3, 2, and 1. And here we are. Welcome, everybody, to the Planetary Call. It is May 29th, 2024. You are here to learn everything about Jupiter. Meow says that the gum essay is incoming, which you know is hot fire. The meowisms are back. We have a lot of fun things to go through, but before we do, we have to do one thing first, and that is play this song. If you're listening with headphones, I warn you right now, you might want to turn down the volume a little bit because this does get loud. But let's fucking go. Welcome, everybody, to the Jupiter Rave. The music label is going to
Jupiter Rave every week, Wednesday. Let's go. Always raving.
Get amped up. I saw somebody in the chat say that they left an event at NFT Lisbon to come to the Planetary Call. Whoever you are my new best friend.
Amazing.
Love to see it. Put it on your calendar. Cancel out your doctor's appointments. If you have a wedding to go to on a Wednesday, no, you don't. You come to the Planetary Call.
How a childbirth? The born of the first son.
Childbirth is tough. If it's your second kid, fuck it. You come to the Planetary Call. If it's your first kid, you can go and
First kid.
Please do not tell this to my wife, who I think is outside the door and can hear me right now. Somebody said I left my kids in the car for this. Said Joker's Wild. That's what we like to hear. All right, folks, we have a fun one coming up for you today. In case you don't know, my name is Kash Donda. I lead the Uplink working group, which puts on these calls, and I do some other stuff in the ecosystem as well. I'll be your host along with the legend Meow himself over the course of the day today. If it is your first time here, welcome. It's good to have you here. I know we already have a few thousand people watching this across different platforms. This call has a very simple purpose. And that purpose is to celebrate the people and the products that make Jupiter great. This is not a pump the token price call. We're not going to talk about the token price. We're going to talk about things that the team is up to, things that the DAO is up to, things that the working groups are up to, cadets, key partners, all the other good stuff that actually accelerates that meta and pushes us forward as a space over here. So if you're watching this on Twitter or on YouTube, make sure to jump into the chat because that's where it gets going. Sunburst, you rock. That's what I got to say. Is Meow his real name? It is. The slide is too small, I'm being told, so I've now made it a little bit bigger here. We're going to have a bunch of things to go through today. Here is the agenda. which is a little bit black for some unknown reason. We're going to start off with wins of the week, a few of the big things that happened in the Jupiter ecosystem, just in case you might have missed it. It's easy to miss. There's a lot of stuff going on. Then we're going to talk about a working group update, specifically the Uplink working group, because our budget proposal is coming up. So I want to share kind of how I see things over on that side. Me and Meow will talk through that and some of the value we're trying to create. Then, very excited, we're going to have the man with the heart-shaped glasses, Jesse, the co-founder of UpRock, on to talk about their token launch that's happening. Here, let me do a little preview of the man with the glasses over here, smiling at peace sign. All right, get out of here, Jesse. Come back in 10, 15 minutes. Who's going to talk about the UpRock launch that's happening tomorrow on the LFG Launchpad. You guys voted him in, and now that token is on the way. And then, of course, we're going to go through the partners spotlight. Two fantastic partners today, Solflare and the Tobi wallet, before we get to the Cadets Corner with our guy, Sax, at the end. So make sure to stick around until the very end. That's when the POAP comes. That's when all the good stuff happens. We will see you, hopefully, in 60 minutes. But we'll take over. What'd you say?
You just say Sax.
SAX, Sax. Oh, he's covering his face right here. That's, you're gonna have to blame him, not me. That's not. I didn't name the guy.
Wow, I thought for the first time in crypto we talk about Sax.
That's no email. That's no email.
Well, we'll talk
like a saxophone, Meow. You know?
Oh, saxophone, not Sax.
Meow, get your Meow's head is goddamn in the gutter at all times, man. I tell you, this guy, they gotta grow up, Meow. We're talking saxophones, not anything else over here. All right. This is particularly funny because some of the metaphors Meow's been throwing at me the last few days that I don't know if we could talk about here, but maybe next week. All right, cool. So with that said, should we get into the wins of the week, Meow?
Let's go, W.
Let's go. Drop a little W and drop a little preliminary W in the chat, because you know that the W's are about to be flowing over here. There are some major wins happening. Let's go through it. First win of the week, the LFG Round 3 vote has officially concluded, and there's just a crazy amount of voters. 303,000 unique wallets participated. 300,000 plus. Incredible. Drop a little W in the chat for yourselves if you voted. If you didn't vote, go grab some Jupe, and you should be voting as well. Make your voice heard. This time around, there was a few changes that happened. In particular, there was blind voting that ended up happening, which was pretty cool, and I think some people maybe appreciate it, maybe not. Make your voices known over in the Discord, the Jupe Research Forum, or just tell us right now that I liked blind voting or didn't. There's going to be more changes coming every time. Incrementally, the voting is getting better and better. And just as a reminder, I say this every call, but I have to say it every call because it's important. ASR, the active stake and rewards, will come to you no matter who you voted for, as long as you voted. So that is the critical thing. Blind voting was great, says Loso. Shout out, Loso. Yes, we like it. Blind voting is good. Blind voting better for real. Love the blind voting. All right, so people are in favor of the blind voting, which I am very glad to see.
I mean, this is actually pretty cool, right? Because I mean, it kind of points to the fact that we try things, right? And people get feedback, and we iterate it, right? I think after every single vote, I think there was like quite a big change that happened, right? So I think it's actually pretty good that it's actually pretty good that like that happened, you know. And I feel like that's actually really important for the community to just like keep talking, right? I mean, it's quite painful sometimes, not gonna lie, you know. But I think it's actually really important just to go through that process.
Yeah, no pain, no gain, folks. The only way this gets better is when people have strong opinions, bring them to the table, argue from a position of good faith, and advocate for what they believe is the best for the community going forward, which people do.
Because everything is everything is an experiment, right? You know, everything is experiment. I mean, crypto is so young, Jupiter is so young that if we don't experiment, then what are we doing, right? You know? Yeah,
that's absolutely right. Yeah, and especially with something like LFG, where we're trying things like, I mean, there's no, at least to my knowledge, nothing with this scale of voter participation that's happening outside of it in crypto. So shout out to everyone who voted and participated. And of course, shout out to deBridge for winning the LFG Round 3. They took a fairly commanding lead by the end of it, and they'll be launching on the LFG Launchpad soon. And when they do launch, they're going to have a whole bunch of things behind them, their own community, as well as, of course, the cadet community that's here, fully customizable launch pool, and a few other very fun things. So shout out to Alex, to Gal, to everybody else on the deBridge side. Very excited for their token to launch at some point in the next 3 months. As a reminder, when you win a vote, you have up to 3 months to actually launch your token. So it might not happen next week or the following, but it'll be happening soon enough. But shout out to deBridge. Excellent. And shout out to the other 2 candidates as well. DiviBet and Exchange Art. All 3 were really solid teams. All 3 were great options. But deBridge just came out on top. Next win. Speaking of LFG, as already mentioned, UpRock is going to be launching their token tomorrow, May 30th, on the LFG Launchpad. I'm very excited for this one, folks. What you can do is head over to lfg.jup.ag/UpRock, and you can actually see right now what kind of airdrop you got. They airdrop to people that voted for them in the first round, as well as the second round, as well as to the D Pioneers NFT holders, as well as to Super Team Turkey members. Shout out Jesse and everybody else for doing that. And a few other communities as well, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of cool things happening over there. You can go check out that launch page right now if you would like. And note, critically, that the airdrop that you see on there is different from the ASR. ASR is going to be distributed, I think, in June or July. This is something different that UpRock is just doing out of the goodness of their hearts to say thank you to the community. And as a quick reminder, if you are a miner for UpRock, your rewards will not be shown on that page. They're going to be handled within the app itself. But Jesse will talk more about that in a little bit. Any news on the when Sanctum TGE? Asked Brett. I think that the dates are still being finalized, but right now all eyes are on UpRock going forward here. So stay tuned. You'll hear more about their launch, along with something kind of interesting and cool that they're going to be pioneering along with Meteora this time to help make the buying experience even better. All right. Then the next win is an integration win. So Jupiter is now powering limit orders directly within Solflare. People know Solflare, I think. They were the first ever Solana wallet, if I'm not mistaken. Massive usage, goated team, built throughout the bear, of course. And now from directly within the Solflare mobile app, you can actually place limit orders using Jupiter. This is one of those growing the pie kind of things, right? Everyone in the ecosystem uses Solflare. Their experience just got a little bit better because Jupiter and Solflare working together. So big shout out to Philip, Vidor, and the rest of the team. We'll be hearing from Vidor in about 40-ish minutes, and he'll take us through this, and we get to actually see it. And speaking of which, another integration here. Jupiter Routing now has integrated Raydium's CPMM program. This is a pretty cool one because it does a few things to make the experience better within Jupiter Routing. The first one, Token 2022, also called token extensions, now can be supported there. Token extensions are used for a bunch of interesting use cases, things like whitelist and allow lists, included memo lines, revocable token transactions, all these kinds of things, these new features. Now that's supported within Jupiter Routing. And now you don't need to create an open book market. It comes with the built-in price oracle using the pool. This one is pretty cool. So shout out to the Raydium team. Meow, anything you wanted to say about this integration with Raydium?
No, I just think it's very cool because I think it actually makes it a lot easier and stuff, because one of the things that actually has always been there for Raydium, right, is that they have this like need to tie in the Raydium CPMM with the serum. Used to be serum. Hey, who remembers serum here? You know, yeah, who remembers serum? I mean, you know, like if you remember serum, drop a serum in the chat, right? But that was like a really old design, and I think it has since outgrown. I think this will actually make the transaction a lot smaller, right, and also a lot easier to integrate. Yeah, so really happy about this. Yeah, pretty great stuff. More integrations, more W's. And then this one I know is a W that the community is going to like. jupSOL is now earning 50% of priority fees from Jupiter's validator. In case you missed it, a few weeks ago, Jupiter launched jupSOL as their liquid staking token, their LST, powered by Sanctum. And they had 0% fees and 100% MEV kickbacks, meaning that basically their rewards were going to jupSOL holders to give it a very nice APY. I think it was around 12 or 13%, if I'm not mistaken. Now, as of today, they're also going to be sharing 50% of the priority fees, which should increase the APY even further. This just makes jupSOL, I think, one of the best LST tokens around. I saw someone just say, good grief, Jupiter is amazing, which is great. So shout out to Triton and Sanctum for helping pushing this forward, as well as Soju, who I know has done a bunch of work on this. So if you can, do your own research, take a look. But if you're looking for a liquid staking token, jupSOL is a pretty great one. And also very, very soon, we're going to announce something awesome, right? There's going to be an awesome place to put your jupSOL very, very soon. Yeah,
Ooh.
So pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Look at you teasing us a little bit. Is there any alpha that can be dropped? Any hints?
Very, 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 very soon. Very, very, very soon.
Okay. All right. Heard it here, folks. I myself have some jupSOL. I'm excited to put it some places as well. So this is one for me as well as for everybody else.
Yeah, but actually, a really big thing here, right, is that including, as you guys know, right, we put 100K from our treasury, right, staked it, and the rewards there all go to jupSOL holders, right? So actually that, and we do that because I think it's actually really important for us to actually have that, like provide a really nice APY, for jupSOL, right? So we're gonna continue to invest in that and kind of make jupSOL the best liquid SOL. Yeah.
And just for the record there, that's 100,000 Solana tokens, not $100,000. So 100,000 Solana tokens is whatever, $17-ish million, I think. Pretty great stuff. Team that cares about giving back to the community. That's what we love to see. All right. And then here's another win that I'm very excited about personally. You hear me talk about it all the time. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Jupiverse. It can be hard to keep track. There is now officially a monthly changelog that is going to be live on the Jup research forums, which means at any time you can go there and check and see what the team has been up to in the previous month. Drop a little W for transparency, drop a little W for sharing progress and shipping constantly. This is going to be a great place to take a look at in case you happen to be disengaged for a little bit to understand where the product has come. And a big shout out to my guy, OX Yankee, who's going to be pushing this forward. And a shout out to everybody else on the Jupiter team who's making this happen.
Actually, this is a really good point, which actually invites Sean to come and here talk about stuff. Yeah, it's actually really important, I think. Yeah.
I agree. Xiang, if you're watching this, open invite, my friend, anytime. I think that
actually, this is very important because actually they did a call yesterday with I think 150 people in the town hall, right? It's actually a really good showing, right? For a product update, feedback session, right? So I think awesome. I think Sean should come and talk about this. Yeah, every month. That'd be great.
I think the best version of this call includes regular updates from the team, not just on like new features, but also anything else that's been put out there. Establishes faith, establishes confidence, and kind of gives the community a chance to really peek behind the curtain, which is what makes
for sure. I think this was done in the town hall, but I think a good 5-minute summary of kind of what was discussed, right, by Sean would be terrific. I think. Yeah.
Let's do it. First week of every month. Xiang, you're on notice. We'll see you next week, brother. This is going to be a fun one. Cool. So go check out that Jup Research Forum post as well, and you can get up to speed very quickly on what happened in May. And then speaking of our guy, Xiang, there was a kind of impromptu Catdets Meetup that happened in Auckland, New Zealand. And I think, 20-ish people kind of showed up to that, which is pretty great. Xiang just put out a tweet and made it happen. I know Meow has done this in the past as well. The next one is going to be happening in Vietnam. So if you're going to GM Vietnam, or maybe you just live in Vietnam generally, June 7th, Ho Chi Minh City, there is going to be another meetup. You can go to lu.ma/JupVN to go and join there. It's a great time. You get to meet some other cadets. You get to meet some members of the team. You get to eat some good food. I definitely recommend that you go if you can over here. The working group has been paid thousands to zoom his camera in or out, says Venice. Yeah, I have this automatic zoom camera that if I gesture too wildly, turns on its zoom by accident. So hopefully now it is off. And it's a little bit more stable for folks. All right. I think that's it for the wins of the week. A bunch around integrations and much more. LFG integrations, the community showing up, doing cool things, and the team working as well. Any wins that we missed here, Meow?
Nah, more next week. I think we're working on a whole range of important product updates, and I think we'll have a lot to share very soon. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I will say this, folks, if you're watching right now, make sure to come back next week because there is going to be some very exciting stuff that will be coming out over the next few days. All right. I think that takes us into the working group section right here. Aziz is asking, let's go. So the working group section today is just going to be myself. Officially, the working group lead for Uplink. Unofficially, a degenerate gambler, crossed out because I am crashed out. I gotta stop gambling. I'm trying to get very much done with that. But basically, what I wanted to talk about today, I think that, if you've been coming to the calls for a little bit, you'll have a sense of what Uplink is about. But I haven't really come up and explained precisely what we're trying to do and what the value is. And I think that's a bit of a disservice to the community. So I want to be a little bit more transparent here. I know that I'm not as active personally in the Discord, unfortunately, due to some other responsibilities that I have, quite frankly. And so just here, at least, I want to be able to make clear what we're all about. And let you know that the proposal for our own budget is coming up next week. So hopefully this gives some people some time to ask some questions, give some ideas, maybe get involved by explaining what we're trying to do here. GigaChat, Kash, shout out to you, Donnie. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why Uplink exists in the first place. And this is the line I got to credit Meow with. Meow, I was going to steal credit. I was going to plagiarize, but a cadet is always honest. I got to give credit where it's due. What we're trying to do here is turn the Jupiverse. The power of that line was so strong, I could cut out my connection for a second. Am I still going here? I think I still am live. Okay, cool. Turning the universe into the Jupiverse. That is the idea, right? To take all the good stuff that's happening within the Jupiter ecosystem and push it out into the world, broadcast it, beam it up. This is why I like that name Uplink, like an uplink satellite sending messages out into space. That's what we're trying to do. Everything that's happening in the Jupiter space station gets beamed back down to Earth, as well as to every other planet that is out there, right?
I mean, honestly, when you first had the name Uplink, right, I was like, but now I love it, right? Because I think it's such a good visual, right? It's like you have this planet called Jupiter, right? There's so much stuff happening here, right? So much like messages, so much like content, so much products and everything, right? And then Uplink just takes all that good stuff, all the tech updates, and beam it to the whole universe, right? You know, right? I think that's a really good visual. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something that we're finding more and more how difficult it is, quite frankly. So when we started this thing,
why?
To think, I thought it'd be like, hey, Jupiter is probably like most other communities or projects. They ship a little bit, they do a little bit here and there. The community is kind of, active with Discord and questions and stuff. And it was very clear very early on that there were two kind of big problems. The first one is there's a lot of shit going on in the Jupiter ecosystem at all times, right? The team is busy shipping. The working groups are constantly putting out work. There's like new innovations that haven't worked or haven't been existent before. Things like the GUM, the meta acceleration strategy. And then, of course, all the cadets that are also doing cool things, right? Like we did a joke tweet about starting a record label. Now there's multiple proposals on the Jupe Research Forum. People are creating music videos. They're doing karaoke nights in the Discord. There's just so much going on that needs to be kind of conveyed so that people can stay up to date. So that's been, a challenge, but I think it's something that we're getting a little bit better at over here nowadays. Would you say that? Have you felt that problem as well? I guess you've been living that problem for a while, Meow. You've been feeling this kind of pace.
I feel like the thing I'm the most grateful to Uplink for, right, is that I think okay, guys, if you have run a project before, right, one of the things that you will very quickly notice, right, is that there's this it's actually really difficult to kind of like get the message out, right? To be able to convey, to be able to summarize kind of what you're working on, what your ideas are, what your vision is, and what your community is working on out to the community, right? I mean, it's actually true for any project. But then for Jupiter, it's actually much worse. The project is much worse, right? Because there's just so much going on, right? So I think one of the things that actually really grateful to this weekly process is that it really kind of makes us come together, right? And think what happened, right? What should you talk to the community about, right? And what's important to talk to the community about, right? And even if we miss something out, like for example, the product update, it's actually really good to just think through it and communicate that, right? So I think this is actually a really important thing to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, I think that Jupiter's biggest strength is the community, quite frankly. The team is very good. The products are very good, but there are a lot of good products and there are a lot of good teams out there. But there's nothing like the cadet community that exists. I mean, just look at this. 300,000 people came out to vote. And sorry, my little Zoom thing has come back on because I was gesturing too wildly. Let me turn that off. So, kind of organizing amongst all this chaos, I think is really something that we found to be difficult, but also very rewarding. And really, I think this is where we can start to talk about what success would look like for Uplink, right? So what does it mean to really turn the universe into the Jupiverse? What concretely would change if we are successful as Uplink? Well, the way I like to think about it is that we are in the business of breeding more cadets. That is the actual kind of vision. That's how you know that Uplink is doing well. Because by kind of communicating all the things that are happening across the Jupiter ecosystem, by creating all this kind of content, by coordinating across all these different stakeholders, the working groups, the team, the community, other ecosystem partners, et cetera, what we're able to do, hopefully, is provide some more clarity. And when people have clarity on what is actually going on, the default response is to have more energy. You can't come to this planetary call every week and not leave more bullish on Jupiter. You just can't, right? Because there's so many cool things happening. You can see it in the chat, how many people are actively engaged. Drop a little J for J if you are with me on this. So just bringing it out to the world means there's gonna be more clarity and more energy. And then when we have more viewers, if we're able to put out more content and distribute the kind of key narratives and messages from the Jupiter ecosystem, you're going to get more believers, right? So much of the obstacle right now is that people just don't know the depth of what's going on. There are still people out there that think that Jupiter is a DEX, not even like a DEX aggregator, right? There's a lot of work that we need to do to be able to really pursue this kind of clarity of vision and build these believers out. But if you learn about GUM, if you learn about the vision of the GDSE, if you learn about Jupiter Mobile, these are the types of things that are going to turn you into believers. And so believers are obviously going to become cadets. And ultimately, the final thing that success would look like for us is more contribution. Because the one thing that will definitely not work is some kind of centralized marketing function. That is not the goal here, right? If the community is our biggest weapon here, the goal is to kind of leverage it. And so I want to use this framework that I'm calling, inspired by Meow. I came up with an acronym. Hopefully he likes it. Let's find out. Of community-powered comms, right? This is more than just user-generated content, right? This is community-powered comms, where back in the day, what would happen, right? You'd have a CMO. He's in a corner office and he's yelling to some people who work at some, in some tiny white cubicle to come up with some taglines or something like this, right? And then they just put it out into the world and they hope that it resonates with the audience. That is not what I think marketing and comms look like in crypto. Instead, what we want to do is invite the community in from the ground floor, right? From coming up with what are these narratives that should go out there? What is the content that should be created? And then actually putting it in people's hands and distributing it as well. So working with the community at every stage. So it's not an effort of Kash is working on Uplink. It's actually an effort of the 30 to 50 to 100 to 500 people that might be contributing. Already in Uplink, we've had something like 30 people contribute. We've had more than 300 bounty submissions come in, by the way. So we know that people are interested, but we need to start expanding this more and more. We want to weaponize the community that we have of cadets here to actually push out the messaging. And I'll talk about what that looks like in a second. Meow, what do you think of community-powered comms as the secret sauce to Uplink's success?
I feel like it's actually really important to kind of like have that get distribution, right? It's like what is a good way to, number one, like really rally the comms, and then secondly, kind of like get distribution for those comms, right? So I think that's actually really, really important. And I'm pretty excited to see what happens there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I think that there's like one world where there's the old world, where just like three guys in a back room are coming up with all the messaging and putting out in the world. Then there's this kind of like intermediate thing that I think some people in crypto have kind of figured out, of like, oh, why don't we as a centralized team come up with all the messages and then we'll have the community just distribute them, right? And you kind of use the community as evangelists, which is good, but is not enough, in my opinion. The true spirit of community-powered comms is using the community to actually help craft those narratives, to actually help create the content, not just reshare it on Twitter, but actually be involved and co-owners in the process of putting these key messages out. Somebody said I'm hitting the Benjamin. This is a nicotine vape, not a Benjamin, fortunately or unfortunately. But so that is the kind of secret sauce of what Uplink is trying to do. We want to get more people activated in what we're doing. So to this end of turning the universe into the Jupiverse, to this end of breeding more cadets by getting more content out into the world, here are a few of the experiments we've already run. One, the planetary call, obviously the call that you're all on right now. OG General saying missionaries over mercenaries. That's exactly right. What we have here on the planetary call is basically like the largest recurring event in the Solana ecosystem. Every week, thousands of people come out to like hear updates, which is pretty incredible. And you're seeing this copied by other ecosystem teams already. So I think that's a pretty successful experiment. Number two, the YouTube channel. I can share some metrics about this next week, but before we started, there was no YouTube channel. Now there is. We're already at, this is a true stat, 900,000 minutes of watch time, nearly 1 million minutes of watch time in 4 months, which is pretty incredible, on nearly 150 videos. So we've been busy on that side. We have the satellite program. We're working with top creators as well as community members to create content. I'll talk more about that in a second. And of course, the LFG interviews. So we're running a bunch of experiments and we want to run way more. And that's really what the budget proposal is going to talk about and kind of push forward next week as well. Based Kash, says Choo Choo Girl. Shout out to Choo Choo Girl. So actually, to that end of the satellite program, what we're trying to do there, as I mentioned, is activate the community. Find ways to bring you all into the process so we can benefit from your own creativity, your own ideas. And shout out to Organized General, who is helping to lead this effort right now. There's a new bounty up. Every week, we're going to be putting up a new bounty to create video content and post it to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, right? Starting to grow the pie outside of just crypto Twitter. And we need your help to do it. So every week there's going to be a mission that says, hey, go create clips out of this kind of content, go create shorts, put your own spin on it or edit it, do whatever you like. And we'll reward people with Jupe and that J for J kind of mentality. Last week, it was all around Meow's interview with Kevin and Luke Belmar. I think we had 27 submissions come through. This week, we want to do it around deBridge. Next week, we're going to be doing around some of the big announcements that are happening. And basically, every week, we want more and more people to participate, more people to kind of contribute, and ultimately more growth to happen on the back of it, which is pretty exciting. So if you have any questions on this, reach out to Organized General. We're also doing content workshops to help people in the community level up their skills. So I think on Saturday, there's going to be the next workshop that Order Rums and Organized General are going to be running. So the goal is to kind of help upskill everybody and then use those skills to push out into the world all of this kind of content. Will this be on the No, this will all be in the Jupiter Discord on Saturday. And folks, I also really need to say this because obviously I am the most visible member of the working group, but I'm far from doing it alone. So I do want to take this opportunity to shout out everyone else who's on the team who's been crushing it as well. So Seb Monty, who's been doing managing the YouTube page, doing a lot of good stuff over there to get content out, organizing some of the content strategy. Pedro, the editor, who's been putting some banger edits together for the main page, including the planetary call clips. Srijani, the ops wizard, and the best artist on Solana is Mai. I think she does the POAPs every week, along with helping with a bunch of other kind of things. Famous Clouds, the Clips commander, who's crushing it. Drop a little W in the chat for Famous Clouds. The guy is a legend. And then Organized General, who's been helping on the community side and activating more cadets. There's a bunch of other people in the satellite program. I don't have enough time to talk about all of them because, like I said, I think we've worked with like 30 to 40 people at this point out of the community. But here's the bottom line, folks. If Uplink is successful, it means more cadets, it means more users for Jupiter, and it means more mainstream penetration. This is how we accelerate the meta. This is how we bring people in. We meet them where they are with content. We meet them where they are with new avenues in areas outside of just crypto Twitter, and we spread that message and beam it to the rest of the world. That's the idea behind Uplink.
So, Kash, question for you. How do you foresee us really, because right now, right, our audience is still largely kind of Solana centric, right? Mm-hmm. You know, how do you really see us really growing the audience, right? Kind of beyond this pie, right? Yeah. And also, do you see Uplink do you see Uplink kind of participating in more like the user growth side of things, right? Because because right now it's mostly around content, right? Mm-hmm. And community content, right? Do you see Uplink also being part of the user growth, right? Or growing beyond the current network that we already have, right? On to go into kind of other forms of media. How are you seeing it? Yeah.
Inshallah, yes, is the answer to that. I see this it's a funnel, right? Everything in life is a funnel. Uplink is no different, where the content is kind of helping to attract people at the top of the funnel. And then that might be content on TikTok or YouTube, places where people maybe don't normally see crypto content, maybe aren't familiar with Jupiter yet, but it catches their eye and they're kind of interested in it. The vibes are right. The content is cool. There's interesting big ideas coming in from people like yourself, Meow. That brings them in one step closer in the funnel, right? So they kind of go from this awareness or this attraction, and now they're kind of engaged, right? They're activated in some kind of way. And that might be coming to the planetary call. That might be coming to a town hall with CWG, with the product team, or anybody else, even if it's not something Uplink is doing. It might mean getting more involved in the Reddit and so on. And then at the very bottom of the funnel, we have that kind of deep activation that happens when people are kind of actually contributing back to the community. They are participating in the satellite program, for example. They're coming up with creative ideas for giveaways, which shout out to the Reddit that gave me some great ideas on doing some things there. So yes, the short answer is I think that if Uplink is actually successful, we specifically are targeting people outside of the crypto Twitter bubble to try to spread the message of Jupiter elsewhere. And really, there's kind of two key ideas there. So the first one is showing up in places where Jupiter previously has not really shown up, right? There was no Jupiter YouTube. It's not really a Jupiter TikTok presence, not really a Jupiter Instagram presence. We want to be there because that's where normal people are, right? That's where my cousin, my friends who are not in crypto actually hang out. So if we're not there, we're not going to be able to win those people over. And then the second is to make sure that there is a flood of content, not just about Jupe, though. This is the critical kind of piece, right? We got to start onboarding people. As you said, Jupiter is almost synonymous with Solana DeFi. We need more crypto users, not just crypto buyers, but more crypto users generally. And so I think what we really want to do is expand the scope of the content that we're doing.
There's also a really big difference between crypto owners, right? Who have sexes, right? And then versus crypto DEX users, right? So I feel that's actually one really big thing as well. So one of the things I'm really thinking about a lot these days is how do we kind of really get a lot more like how do we really get a lot more like sex users, right, to start using Jupyter, right? So that's actually one big thing, but one big thing I'm thinking about as well.
Yeah, I think that like content can help in that direction because we have like good products that actually add new value. So some of the things that we're going to talk about next week, I think will be very useful here. But just onboarding people to the beauty of DeFi in general, I think becomes really essential. A lot of the sex users don't even know that there is like opportunities in DeFi, not only to discover more tokens and trade them and swap them and do everything else using Jupyter, but also just like, what is borrow lend? How does that actually work? Oh, I can earn yield. What are different ways that I can kind of play around in finance to get more deeply engaged and to earn more money ultimately? And how do I actually use this crypto in ways that are interesting and meaningful, whether it's with people like Sphere or others? So I think a lot of it is just like this kind of deeply held belief that a lot of people have that like crypto is either a scam or it is just something that I own through Binance, right? And that's what we have to kind of break by showing them there is a broader world out there with Jupyter at the center of it, or at least a Jupyter with as a main player in it.
Yeah, I think we are still very early in the process. I think, I think the more we can drive that, like I remember Luke had this like really simple and powerful video. It just said like, if you want to buy stuff, it's super easy. You just do A and B and C, right? So I think we need that kind of like extremely simple, powerful messages to get out there. And we're not quite there yet, I think. Yeah.
I'd agree. I think that right now crypto is scary for a lot of folks, right? They're like, I don't know if I own my keys. What if I lose it? I don't know like what's going on. And I think a lot of it has to do with just demystifying crypto, making it simple and be like, hey, this is actually something that anyone can do. It's built so that anyone can join and participate in it.
Yep.
I think somebody said, Samuel said, time to preach the Solana gospel to the world. We're preaching Solana. We're preaching Jupyter. We are preaching decentralization and the meta, folks. That is the kind of goal. So drop a little J for J if you are with me on at least the point of Uplink and where it can add some value. Like I said, we'll have an actual proposal next week and we'll get some real feedback and so on and so forth. But right now, just wanted to kind of make clear what we're trying to do over here. A shout out to Rod and Tuya and Chayanat.
So Kash, if we are successful, right, what would that look like? Like what would success for Uplink look like? In the 1 year time frame, in like 2 year time frame, right? Yeah.
I'm hesitant to give actual like hard numbers because I don't know exactly.
No numbers, but where do you kind of want like how do you foresee Uplink operating, say in 1 year's time? Yeah. Say the budget get passed and stuff, and you 1 year work on it, right? Like where do you see it going? Like what do you think the final form of like Uplink in a year will be? Yeah.
I think it looks like maybe three things happening. The first one is a steady stream of new cadets coming in. Like I said, we want to breed more cadets, right? Through content, through this kind of evangelization of what's going on. So that's a big piece of success, right? If we don't see like the Discord growing, if we don't see more people like actually using Jupyter, of course, but also just contributing back to the ecosystem of Jupyter, that's kind of like the first thing that we need for success. The second piece of success is I want to have dominant social presences in multiple places outside of Twitter. Obviously, Jupyter's got a great place in Twitter right now, but we need to be dominant in other forms of social media as well. And the final way that I'll know...
dominant, what does dominance mean to you?
Dominance means, very simply, views, subscribers, mindshare. It's those three things, right? You have people that are actually seeing the content. It's adding value to their life, so they want to watch it. It adds so much value that they want to follow along with it. And it's showing up in all these different areas, so they can't really escape it. It becomes kind of like omnipresent. You and I both know most people need to hear a message 3 or 4 times before they actually take action on it. So it's not enough to just show up occasionally. We got to be kind of ever present there, both in terms of high quality content as well as high quantity of content.
Cool.
All right, cool. Yeah. Last thing I'd say is that if we are truly successful, I think that like I could get hit by a bus and Uplink would continue going, right? Like I don't think that Uplink works if it is dependent on me or Seb or Pedro or Srijini or anyone else, right? Like the whole goal here is to activate the community such that there is a social army of people that are willing to step up and contribute and do the work.
Yeah, so, I think to that point, right? I think one thing that is really important beyond the numbers thing is like just having a stream of like really high quality like stuff, and really findable and really indexable, right? Across like the social platforms. Yeah, I feel like we are not quite there yet, you know? Yeah, and yeah, that's it. So I think it's very, very important. Yep.
Agreed. All right. This has been obviously a lot of stuff about the Meow's doing an interview, so tell me about a time. This is good. Meow's keeping us honest. And big shout out to the other working groups as well, who've been really helpful along this process. But of course, would not be happening without Meow, Soju, and many other folks from both the team and the community. But with that said, let's keep it moving here. So do go check out that Jupiter video mission on earn.superteam.fun and contribute, and do come out to some of the upcoming events. So we have the cadet working session that is happening the 29th, which I think is today. So that's going to be happening in like 45 minutes. I will try to jump in there myself. We have the UpRock launch happening tomorrow, and then the Vietnam meetup that I mentioned earlier happening on the 7th of June. With that said, let's talk a little bit about this LFG UpRock launch. So I want to bring up on the stage Jesse, co-founder of UpRock. Drop a little JM for Jesse, folks, as we talk about the launch.
Good morning.
T-minus 1 day, Jesse.
What's up?
Hey.
What's up, Jesse? What's up?
What's up? Thank you. Nothing but love for you guys. So I'll always keep these on.
That's what I like to hear.
Even my monk has glasses. Just realized that. They're not heart shaped, but
as long as I get a pair of those glasses at some point soon, I will be very happy.
No, this is awesome. It feels like it's been, every day in crypto, it feels like forever. So much goes on. So it's been a wild ride since we first submitted with you guys just a few months ago. It just feels like a long time has passed, but it's been great. This whole community's been awesome for us. And so to finally have the launch date tomorrow, it's like, I know, it's like we're embracing the chaos. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
No sleep for a while is most likely what's going to be happening here.
Yeah, that's why I actually really wear the glasses. My eyes are closed.
That's right. Yeah. Jesse, do you want to talk a little bit about the new Meteora vaults? Because I think this is the first time that it's happening. People might not be so familiar with the alpha vaults.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So a couple of things we're trying to do for the community to make this a really great experience. This is unheard of. We're actually launching our start price. It's the same price as the investor round, because we just announced a $4 million round with some very strategic investors just last week. And we wanted to be fair to the community. Its start price is the same. So that's unheard of. We're really excited about that, and the response has been really good. Second is this Meteora Alpha Vault is what they're calling it. And it's pretty exciting about this. So if you've ever participated in Launchpad before, in any crypto Launchpad, and if you haven't, then this is an issue that plagues almost every Launchpad, where there's sniper bots, people who have a lot of money to pay for the infrastructure, and they basically have the technical know-how to build these sniper bots that are able to go in milliseconds and buy up the entire supply, especially if it's a hot project. They'll go in, they'll buy the entire supply, many times the whole thing in like literally a second. And then because of that reason, the price jumps up. And then after that, they sell to the community, basically dump on the community over the next hour or something like that. It's a hard problem to solve. No human can actually beat these sniper bots. And so Ben and Meteora team has thought of a really cool solution to actually say, hey, you know what? If the sniper bot's out there, let's arm the community with a better, bigger sniper bot. And so that's what this vault is about. It's like bringing a nuclear bomb to a gunfight, And so essentially, in advance, before the curve goes live, before the LFG Launchpad goes live, the community can go in, kind of arm the bot with their USDC. That's what it does. You connect your wallet, go to the Meteora page. You can load up the vault, load up the bot, basically, with the USDC, and you're guaranteed with this vault together, the whole community, and this will be the guaranteed first transaction on the curve. So you have the best prices, but will be toward the community, not the bots. Now, in return for that, in return for having the best first price, there is a 1-day claim on the tokens, and then there's a 6-day kind of continuous vesting of those tokens. So 1 week to claim the whole thing. That is in return. The reason we have to do that, because if you don't have at least a few day window to actually claim your tokens, then the sniper bots can still just go into this community vault, right? The reason why you need to have a few days delay, because now those sniper bots, which is basically mercenary money, they have to actually think like a holder. Instead of thinking, okay, we can get the supply and dump quickly, now they have to think, if we're going to go in this vault, now we have to think 6 days in advance. Like, how's the token to be? I have to think like a holder now. It's not mercenary money anymore. And this is a very, very important key point. So in return for that 6-day hold, you get the best price of the community. It's going to be the same, roughly same price as the investor round. And then, of course, after that, the thing goes live, and it can buy and trade, and the rest of the world will participate. That'll be, and that can be, who knows where it's going to go there. But yeah, that's what's so exciting about the Meteora launch. It's the first time anyone's actually done it this way. So it's a big experiment. We weren't even sure like how early to release this thing. It's already live now. And yes, it's people are loading it up. So that's awesome to see. It's actually people are doing it.
Yeah, it looks like there's about $600,000 in there right now already.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yep, exactly.
So
So that's the guaranteed first transaction when it goes live. The community will have the first transaction. The first few bins are the community right now. So awesome to see it.
Definitely encourage anybody to check this out if you know you want to get in on the UpRock launch and are comfortable holding it for a few days. Of course, you'll be able to see right here within Meteora what the average vault price is going to be. The reason that's important, just in case anyone missed it there, the more money that is in the vault, the more of that curve the vault will end up buying. So the price will actually increase slightly as more money gets added to it. So right now, you'll get it at a price of about 4.6 cents. That number might change a little bit as more money comes into the vault. So heads up to people on that side.
Yeah. So, and then besides that, we're gonna after this planetary call, you know, your weekly live streams inspired us, so we do one right after you guys, about an hour after. And so on this is our last live stream before the TGE. So if you guys want to tune into that after this call, essentially we're going to talk about any questions people have, because 50% of our users are new to Web3, they're Web2 users. So we want to make sure everyone's safe. There's a bunch of scam links out there. If you're not used to this, people will scam you. And there's links everywhere. We're reporting all the fake accounts. If this is your first time using a crypto launchpad, this is part of the game. So we want to make sure everyone's safe, answer those questions, explain the Meteora Vault, explain the LFG Launchpad, how to connect your wallet, put out a couple of tutorials. And also, very importantly, you can hear about our plans for after TGE. This is not just the end of the world after this. Not like just token launch and then goodbye. You know, the whole point of this is to accelerate our roadmap so we can actually work on the product, make the token utility enhanced, and make the actual token more useful. That helps the price of the token as well. So we'll talk about our roadmap and any other questions the community has for us.
People should definitely go check those out. It was a good time. Jason is asking here, for the vault, is it automatic or do you have to do something after you deposit? Do you have to manually go back and claim, or at the end of the vault period, will the tokens just be sent to you?
You do have to claim. There will be a claim button. And then when it happens, they'll just, over the 6 days, they'll just continually vest. So you can literally refresh the page every few minutes and you can continue to claim what's being vested, or you can wait to the end of the period or every few days, however you want to do it. But it's claimable. It starts to vest after 1 day from TGE, and then it's continually vest over 6 days is how it works. Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. OG General saying, thank you, Jesse and the team, for giving us the opportunity to buy in at the same price as your VCs. Respect. It's not something that happens a lot, folks. That's
appreciate it.
Cool, gotta say. Yeah. No insiders. All right. So, folks, if you have not already, go check out the UpRock Discord. The UpRockers are... Do we have any UpRockers on this call right now here supporting? Drop a little UpRock if you are there. Let me bring up Meow here as well. Go check out there.
Actually, so one thing that I think is kind of not discussed, right? I think it's really important to kind of highlight the thing in the remaining day and stuff. It's actually kind of the pricing, right? You know, right? Because I feel like we talk a lot about the vault mechanism, but we don't talk at all about the price, which is kind of like missing the point, I think. You know,
Okay.
yeah. So I think I really think so. I think people don't. I think you probably haven't went through enough about like the whole pricing thing, right? Like why you think the price should be this or should be that and stuff, and how you comprehend it. In fact, I think it's so important that you probably explain it explicitly in a tweet or something, right? Like I think it's really important. So like how do you design a price curve, right? How do you choose how to start with, how to end with and stuff, right? And how do you how you think about everything, things like that.
Yeah, I can do a brief one here, and then we can do more details. People do ask this, and you're right.
And you should definitely tweet it. You should definitely tweet it. Yeah. So most people.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we one we looked at, we wanted to have, we did some sanity checks, see what other competitors, similar products, both in the Web 2 and the Web 3 space. So, one of their evaluations, because when we're going out, it took many months to actually. If anyone's fundraised before, it's very, very hard. It's like, it's painful. You're saying the same jokes over and over again. But it's a lot of work. And so, the kind of the market, just the process of fundraising, you learn what your pricing is, and you kind of understand what is crazy or not crazy. And so there's that. So that was kind of give us a good understanding of what the investors and what we've built, our traction, our product, where we're at, all that stuff. will ends up being what we can finally command for our final valuation. So there's that. And then as far as the curve goes, what we looked at was what we want to do is have like good, again,
So
good bullish launch.
The starting point is the VC, is the same as VC, right?
Right, which is 4 cents. So 4 cents at $1 billion supply. 4 cents means the company is worth 40 million FDV, so fully diluted valuation of token market cap, and it's 4 cents. So that's what our investors paid for when they got in, and that's where we're going to start the curve at as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that actually would be a pretty good way to explain it, right?
Yeah.
You know, right? The curve starts from kind of like where the investors invested as well.
Yeah, where the last round, the last round raise is where the curve starts, and then we made a pretty steady, so it's not like a steep curve, but so that's where it starts, where the last round was valuated. That was important to us because really the dates were so close, and I thought it was the most fair way of doing this. Second is there's a lot of startups who, they rise privately and then they jump, might launch at a higher price. And of course that's come alpha there and we could have made some profit. But I think how we thought about it was if we can start at a good price, it's still bullish. 40 million is still great for a startup with our traction, I think is reasonable, but it's a good bullish price, but there's a lot of room to grow, and I thought, there's other, we've heard rumors of companies in the DePIN space because it is the hottest narrative. Besides AI, DePIN is a hot narrative right now. And so I've heard rumors of people commanding really crazy FTVs. And the last thing we want to do is launch at such a high price that really even our own business model doesn't support it yet. So it's maybe the hype, we could have probably delivered the hype, but then we're going to have to explain the drop over the course of the year and explain to the community why it's not being sustained. And we did not want that world. That sounds like a nightmare of just constantly explaining why price go down. Would suck and just drain our lifeblood and uninspiring. So we're like, what's a good bullish price, reasonable, and then let's not have a crazy ass curve either, And this curve is gonna we're gonna have some market price discovery as well. Like we'll see what the community thinks of us, honestly. But we at least will say, look, wherever it's at, we are gonna have a lot of room to grow because we're just getting started. Like the day of TG, and this is a fundraising effort with the community. I mean, we have a lot of room to. We have to. This is just the beginning. We have to build a product. As everyone knows, fundraising, TGE, it's so time consuming. Once this is done, we'll be full time to accelerate a roadmap. Actually, work on the product full time. Because right now, full time is this. So we're gonna continue to do our live streams. Really love how you guys do it. You inspire us. So I think we every week our live stream picks up too. And StreamYard is great, by the way. Of all the just. Shout out to StreamYard. It's a pretty cool product.
Shout out to Seb Monty, who introduced StreamYard as well, by the way. Shout out Seb.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Seb is great. Seb is great. Awesome. Yeah. And he's super busy. But yeah, that's our thinking, like curve at this price at the last round and then have room to grow. It's still bullish numbers, but it is not crazy. And like I said, it's not like we do not want to explain. We'd rather have a chart that goes like this over time instead of boom. Yeah.
Let me say one thing here. I see there's a few comments about like, hey, what is the supply and so on. That's actually here on the LFG page. So if you zoom in here, you'll see there's 1 billion total tokens in supply, and there's 100 million tokens in the pool. So that's about 10%. That is exactly 10% of the overall token supply. That does not include the airdrops that are going out. That does not include miner rewards that have already been kind of pre-mined and so on. So this is, at least from my perspective, a pretty substantial amount of the supply is going to be floating.
Our DePIN, obviously the DePIN model, instead of putting a lot on airdrops, we've been the DePIN model is like incentivize people to help grow our network. So people have been earning our token for the past 5 or 6 months. So we might not have the biggest airdrop of other communities, but really we've already been giving out the token for the past 5-6 months. But based on user, based on work, you have to install the app, refer your friends. Bug bounties. So it's actually, you have to earn the token essentially, right? And I think that's why the DePIN model is so powerful and so exciting because when people who are doing it, they have a little more skin in the game. We're not just airdropping the entire supply, but for the community, it's like there's airdrops, but even then you have to vote for us. We have to earn your vote and all that stuff. So yeah, I think I think that's all very positive, and we're going to obviously even after TGE, half of our supply is going to be toward earning it. So people continue to earn the UpRock tokens in the app. It's going to be for referral programs, affiliate programs, and of course, developer bounties. Anytime that people are going to contribute code to the network, build a network up, you can earn the token.
Very cool. Folks, if you have other questions about either the Meteor Vault or UpRock or the price curve, head on over to their Discord. You can ask questions. They're super active over there. But I think for right now, for the sake of time, Jesse, we'll say best of luck on the launch tomorrow.
And thank you guys again. Thank you to you guys, everyone here in the Jupiter community. I mean, it wouldn't happen without you guys. So we appreciate all your support. Yeah, this is awesome that it finally is happening.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, you heard from Jesse. Let's now hear from some of the key partners for Jupiter right now. Let me bring up Chris here from Tobi Wallet. Tobi Wallet is a very fun because they're in a bunch of different places. They're obviously on Solana, they're on the TON network, on EVM, and many more. Chris, for people who haven't heard of Tobi before, how would you describe kind of what makes it different and what makes it better?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having me here, Kash, Meow. It's really great to be here. You know, obviously with the J.U.P community, with all you cadets out there. So, you know, thanks. You know, in terms of like Tobi, just would love to shout it out a little bit. You know, we're basically the simplest way to get access to tokens on any chain inside of Telegram, in a secure, self-custody, simple way to do it. So as you already mentioned, you know, we're across, you know, a number of the best ecosystems that we think are interesting to folks for speculation and for, you know, playing around with Web3 assets at this point in time, namely Solana, of course, TON, as well as, you know, EVM compatible chains, including Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, etc. Right. So, you know, this is something where we felt very strongly about bringing this kind of simple experience directly into Telegram, where there's going to be the greatest amount of possible distribution. I'm sure a lot of you have already started hearing about some of the numbers that, you know, Telegram mini apps have been pulling down. You know, you guys have obviously heard about, you know, sniper bots in there. You've heard about what TON's trying to do. You know, we're talking about numbers that, you know, are orders of magnitude larger than sort of what we were seeing in terms of users in the past few cycles in crypto here, right? We're talking like millions, tens of millions of users, active users who are using Telegram mini apps and really getting access to Web3. So, you know, we were talking earlier on this call, you know, about, you know, you guys were talking earlier about in this call about how do we really open it up to these folks who are used to a little bit more mainstream types of experiences, right? Like, you know, they're trading on centralized exchanges. They're a little bit more what we might call normie, or, you know, they're just kind of normie leaning a little bit more in terms of the interfaces that they'd like to have. We're trying to capitalize on that. We're trying to make that bridge between those folks who are, you know, used to something that's a little bit more Web 2 in terms of interface, but who really want access to all the excitement, fun, you know, markets, assets that are available in Web 3. Right. And so we just create this really super simple experience inside of Telegram that allows you to do that. I think there might be a video here actually that you might have love.
You think correctly here for a little little. So you recently integrated Jupiter. I'll play this and I'll just let you speak over what we're seeing here.
100%. So first step, actually wanted to also shout out deBridge. So just to the cross-chain point right here, a lot of folks who, you know, who talk about, you know, getting into different ecosystems, the thing that they struggle with the most is how do I get my assets over from Ethereum, or how do I get my assets over from even like, you know, fiat, right? So here we've integrated deBridge as well. So this is just an example of USDC on Optimism here, making a you know, super easy swap right over into Solana to start getting started, you know, with your meme coin trading on Jupiter and Solana, right? So here it's integrated directly. I like, honestly, I mean, I've been using like, you know, bridges, cross-chain swaps for quite a while now. I personally have no easier experience than what we've built for ourselves, right? This is very much scratching our own itch here. You do it right inside of Telegram. Boom. As you just saw, I just took $30 from USDC OP and just swapped it over into SOL, right?
It happened too fast. I have to like rewind
it is
video
exactly. You have to rewind it and like then see it again, right? It's insane. And so that's why so many people have been like, you know, just turning to Tobi now to be kind of their main for a lot of the activity that they do. And then here immediately what you can do is then you just pop over. Okay, let's say we want to get some exposure to Jupe. Here you go. Hit the trade button. We auto populate a bunch of stuff so that it just makes it easy for you to just one hit specify how much you want to do there. Of course, Jupiter is the one you know, providing the routes here and amazing execution. And just look at how fast that goes, right? So and for us, we just think that like being this kind of interface that allows people to use Web3 and get access to it in such a simple and easy to distribute way inside of Telegram is really where we're making big inroads into the market at this point.
Super cool. Love to see this. Love to see integrations of Jupyter to make it easy. deBridge, obviously part of the Jupyter ecosystem now as well,
Exactly.
which is pretty great. Meow, anything you wanted to ask Chris here from Tobi?
No, I just think that I think ever since I saw the demo, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, so I think and actually I also have a friend who works at Tobi, which is awesome as well. Yeah.
100%.
So where do you so you're on Ton as well, right? Ton.
We are, yes.
So
we do support it.
How will you compare the Ton and Solana ecosystems? Yeah.
Great question. Yeah, I mean, so I would say that like right now, we're obviously very close with the Ton folks as well, and we speak to them often, and they have great ambitions in terms of what they want to do. I would say a lot of what they want to do on chain is in fact sort of modeled after the success of Solana, right? I mean, I think part of that has, part of the Solana narrative obviously has been that it's become the premier sort of alternative to EVM and going to overtake it in many different metrics. The meme coin sort of boom has come and sort of finally proven the sort of the value proposition in a lot of ways for Solana. And Ton has sort of like keyed into that as well, right? So I think from their perspective, I would say that their strategy is very interesting because it's a little bit more, how should I put it, coordinated maybe in some ways, right? In terms of, they're investing very solid resources to try and emulate and incubate some of the successful aspects of the Solana ecosystem. They have a very, a big foundation team, and they're putting a lot of resources into it. Obviously, they have Telegram sort of implicitly behind them in a lot of ways. And so, meme coins are starting to take off a little bit there. They've built up a pretty solid sort of, meme coin and there is a DEX offering on there in Ston as well. So they're really trying to emulate, I think, a lot of the great things that we're seeing inside of Solana's ecosystem. They're even trying to emulate that kind of community feel, right? That you guys have just amazingly built so organically here. Jupyter in particular, not even just Solana. Like they see all this, right? And they're trying to sort of be like, hey, how can we do that for our ecosystem on the Ton side of things? But I would say also, still though, on in terms of just looking at our data, right? I mean, the vast majority of trades that go through us and trading volume at this point is still on Solana, right? I mean, I think a lot of people, it's really hard to, there's a lot of network effects that are already, going for Solana in terms of people knowing where to go in order to create meme coins, know where to go in order to launch tokens, know where to go in order to get great execution and get, access to the assets. So it's like, it's really, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely hard to compete with that, and it's going to be interesting to sort of see, how they decide to leverage the Telegram distribution aspect of that to see if they have a different angle into this. I think maybe one differentiator here is that you can sort of see they have a lot of gaming things that have taken off recently. I don't know. I'm sure Meow, you're familiar, but for folks in the audience who may not be, there are a couple of breakout games in the Ton ecosystem, one of which is called Catizen. I mean, again, kind of, also to do with cats, but like, that kind of a thing, they have these really light kind of mini app games that are going on inside of Telegram, and they're trying to leverage those as an earning potential and then a wedge into the market there. So yeah, does that help? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
I know we're running a little bit behind on time, but I have to ask, Meow, what do you think of the Telegram network? We haven't actually talked much about this relative to Solana.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I mean, most L1s have a major problem, right? It's how do you get traction, right? So Ton has the exact same problem, except that it has a big advantage too, right? It's like, and it's also not like, for example, it's different, right? For example, you have Snapchat, right? For example, if Snapchat wants to build a L1, it's kind of difficult because you don't really see Snapchat users being crypto users, right? But obviously, one big advantage Telegram has is that all the crypto users are Telegram users, right? So it's actually a really big overlap there, right? At the same time, it's actually very non-trivial to figure out how you build a funnel, right? From the users into a blockchain user, right? Right? And because, I mean, think about it. If it was so easy, Facebook, Google, Apple will have own blockchain, right? but they don't, right? Obviously, right? So I feel like there's actually a lot to say about like the difficulty of converting a user into a blockchain user, right? Which is a relatively different thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I'd absolutely agree with that. And to even, to bolster your point is you look at like a recent sort of a little bit more of a failed experiment that's trying to reposition itself right now is Clayton, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. Kakao Talk is one of the major messenger services in Korea, in South Korea, right? And so they actually tried to build a chain to your point, Meow, to like leverage their distribution on that side. They're like sort of, you could imagine a Snapchat if Snapchat decided to try and build a chain and turn their users into blockchain users, and so far it's not really done as well as you would expect. It's not as easy as you would think it is. Exactly.
It's actually very difficult. Yeah, I think most people have the misconception that you just do A, B, C, and D will just happen, right? No, it doesn't work that
Exactly.
way. It's actually a really big like drop off, Yeah, so I think but Telegram could be different, right? I don't know, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have the distribution, so we'll see. In any case, if you are looking to explore,
it's not your fault. Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. If you want to try and check out the whole Ton experience, the Telegram experience, go check out Tobi Wallet. Chris, thanks so much for coming out as well. It's a pleasure, and
thank you.
It's good to have you.
Man.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah,
and thanks for integrating Jup. Yeah, let's go. The integration looks awesome, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nicely. Speaking of wallets, let's bring up on stage next. He's been in the ecosystem for years at this point. If you've been around Solana, you already know.
Legend. Fucking legend.
Decades,
Let's go.
Eons. He's old as fuck is what I'm trying to say. That's not actually true. I think Vidor is actually pretty young. But what's going on? Vidor, the co-founder of Solflare. Before we talk about anything, Vidor, I have to ask, is that an actual samurai sword in the background?
Yes,
that you have there?
not only one, but two.
Wow. Would you mind whipping that thing out?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or is they, I don't know how precious and rare
Wow,
it is.
holy shit. A real samurai.
Yeah, please give the whole presentation holding the sword. That's no joke, folks.
It's a real one.
That is as sharp as the Solflare user experience. You see what I did there, folks? That's what we call a segue. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Anyway, Vidor, what can you tell the people, for anyone who is not already familiar with Solflare, what can you tell them about Solflare?
So Solflare is the Solana wallet. We've been there since forever. Basically,
I love how you say the Solana wallet. I love that. I love it.
It's what it is. I think
Vidor, yes.
What we figured out is that like focus really matters at the end of the day. I think we share a lot of those values, and then focus just brings compounded success to some extent. We sort of like discovered Solana very early, and we were amazed by what we've seen, given that at that point we will like built on more than 10 non-EVM blockchains, and we decided like, hey, there's really a future here. And like at the pace of Solana's community, its technologies, everything just made sense to like build this Solana wallet that encompasses all aspects of like showing assets, self-custody. We're very bullish on self-custody, security, trading, like everything you can think of that exists on Solana, just like Solflare.
That is great. And I think one thing that maybe is underappreciated about Solflare, not only have you stuck through with Solana in the deepest of times when other people were going to other chains, you're also helping to grow the pie for Solana, bring in more people in with the most popular MetaMask Snap integration. Can you talk a little bit about that for a second?
Oh yeah, so we were thinking like there's this like huge EVM user base that needs to like feel the taste of Solana, and like setting up a new wallet is just too tedious. So we basically worked with MetaMask on this integration which allows any MetaMask user, I think there's like 20, 30 million monthly active users right now, maybe even more, I don't know the numbers anymore, like one click of a button away to connecting to Solana DEP without setting up a new wallet. So we did this integration. I think we brought over 1 million users from MetaMask and EVM-based chains that tried out, maybe 800,000, tried out Solana. So that was pretty exciting. Instead of just like building EVM support in Solflare, we decided to like bring the EVM audience to Solana, and that was sort of our approach. Obviously, doubling down on all the Solana features and trying to like show them like what a good blockchain looks like.
And it's great to see that pie growing and more people coming up. And then, of course, we have a new trading experience here as well. Should I play this video and you can tell us what we're watching?
Yeah, maybe a quick, just pause it for a moment, like maybe a brief intro. Like we have a lot of power users, Solflare users like making money, Solflare users like taking profits. We did a bunch of user interviews. We were very passionate about figuring out what our users want. And most of the answers were like, it would be great if I don't miss, like when prices go up or prices go down, when I don't miss the opportunities. And we sort of were thinking, yes, looking at also Jupyter's like limit order and how I built it, this makes like a perfect sense for integration. So long story short, we like built limit orders. Maybe you can show the, and we wanted to like bring in a native experience and like, let me walk this through. So basically, you open the Solana wallet, Solflare. You have this opportunity to look at your coins, your portfolio. We have like a pretty sick new single token page that shows all the ups and downs. And at some point you just wake up and figure out why I didn't sell the top. So wanted to solve that problem. And the solution to that problem were like limit orders. Apart from the popular like swap feature, there's the second tab that you can click that are basically limit orders. And you can do basically stuff like, okay, let's buy like $500 worth of SOL when SOL hits 120. You just type in that info, you click place order, you sign a transaction, and at the lightning speed of Solana, now when Solana goes to 120, God forbid, but hey, if someone wants to buy it, like it will automatically execute the order for you. You don't need to like time it, you don't need alerts, you don't need anything. On the other hand, if you want to take some profits, you can, like, for example, sell 5 SOL when it hits 200. Just put that order, and again, very fast Solana confirmation times, and it's done. You can have a nice overview of your limit orders at the bottom and like nice loading bars. You can inspect each of those limit orders. For example, you can see like click on one, look at one, and it will see it's filled. You can also like look at the history of all the orders that have previously been filled. And if you like decide to like back out of a trade, you can just like click on a limit order, cancel, confirm. It's very convenient. It's your mobile first experience. It's like very like native. You can set the expiration of your limit order if there's also that feature. And I think overall, this is like a huge like unlock for mobile on the mobile trading. We've seen like a huge unlock of and a huge like expansion of mobile users, and they're all like trading on mobile, all trading on mobile. So allowing them to like not only swap spot price, but also set these orders made a lot of users very happy. Solflare right now has like a bunch of users that have seen this. I think in these few days that this has been live, more than 10,000 limit orders have been created. We still plan to do a lot of like activation, a lot of when the limit order fulfills, you get a notification and you're done. You can freely go to sleep and not worry that I don't know, Jenner will crash.
Love it.
This is
People
probably
might remember a
the
tale of
best
two
UI.
traders.
This is probably like what are the most awesome UI I've seen for limit orders, like by far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome work. Awesome stuff. Yeah.
Our mobile and product design teams will be very happy to hear that. They went through iterations and iterations of these user experiences, and we settled with this. So I guess
Sophia,
happy trading, everyone.
Sophia is saying this showcase maybe download Solflare at this exact moment. That's a pretty good demo. It's a drive-in direct action. That's what we like to see. Pretty exciting over here. So can you tell the people a little bit about what's coming up next for Solflare? I know you guys are aggressively pursuing a bunch of different markets, expanding in Nigeria and elsewhere. What else is coming up on the roadmap?
So obviously, like for every wallet, like features are nice, but security is like top priority. So everything that has the possibility to sort of make our users like unsecure with scams, that's also always top priority. So like scam NFTs, filtering scam tokens, scam activities, like all of the like attack vectors that we see in crypto, we want to basically provide like really safe guardrails for users to like comfortably be able to like go and trade and like look into Solana without having the fear of that they're gonna get like hacked or something. So that's always our top priority. We obviously seen like how markets behave, and we're sort of like very synergistic with markets, and are also amplifying on a lot of these trading features that our users like, such as limit orders. But there's going to be some others coming as well. Similar experiences will also be coming to the web wallet, so users can swap and do limit orders there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I cannot really. I think our marketing team would kill me if I told something more. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Drop a little L in the chat for the Solflare marketing team, holding back the alpha right now, but that's all right. We know that's how it goes. Cool. I think this is great. I think it looks awesome. I think you just won a bunch of Solflare converse over here. It's super slick experience. Long time.
Let's go.
And if that doesn't do it for you, Vidor is going to come after you with a katana, and he's going to make you download Solflare as well.
So one thing to share before you go is that hey Victor, it's so good to see you on camera, man. Hello,
Hey,
so good to see you. Yeah. Thanks for always being around. Thanks for being such a great partner. Thanks for being all the feedback. Thanks for it's awesome working with you guys. Yeah, so great.
Absolutely.
So great,
Nice seeing you as well. I mean, Jupiter is one of our longest standing partners, and I see great stuff happening in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, I think obviously we survived the whole. We were actually, so fun fact, we were actually really early in the whole FTX Solana saga, right? And we just worked through all that, and here we are. Here we are, guys. Here we are. Here we are. Yeah.
Mama, we made it. We survived that.
We haven't made it. We haven't made it, but here we are.
We have so many stories. We can probably write a book, but I'm gonna wait a few more years before I do mine.
Yeah, at some point there'll be a Solana book, and yeah, it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to go through that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. Vidor, thanks so much for coming out, brother. Always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, bro.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have one last section for the call today. I know I had said this call would be less than 60 minutes. I'm a liar. I lied. And I can't even blame Meow this time. I did all the fucking talking. So
yeah, you did all talking. You did all talking.
Before the call, I was like, how will I talk for 5 minutes in a row? I end up talking for a goddamn 15, 20 minutes. Anyway, we have Catdets Corner right now. His name is not Sex, although he's got some real appeal. I'll give you that. Please drop a little JM in the chat for us. Sax, you know him. You love him. Sax, how you doing, buddy?
J for J. Hello,
Sax,
guys. Hello.
Sax? Hey, hello.
What's good?
Let me start off by giving the community a bit of FOMO. You can see here the gang TM. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger. Sax, Wake, and Chemo hanging out in London, not but yesterday. Love seeing the cadets coming together in person. Tell us, did Chemo dance at all while you guys were together? Did he shake those heads?
He was in good spirits, but he didn't dance, sadly. He was showing us around the gallery. His friend has launched a pop-up gallery in Soho in London. So he took us down there. I mean, he's from the US and he's taking us around London. So he's a cool guy like that. But yeah, he took us to see the artwork. And then we had some food and stuff as well, and some coffees and whatnot, and spoke about the DAO and, the working groups and cool things like that. So it was fun. It was fun times being Chemo and Wake in person. I've known Wake for like 2 years. And
oh really?
Yeah. So I've known Wake for 2 years, but this is the first time we've actually seen each other face to face yesterday, and Chemo's there as well. So it was a special moment. Yeah, so
pretty good stuff. We might have to do like a London Catdets Meetup at some point, Sax. What do you think? I'm in London for another few weeks.
Are you in London as well, Cashton?
In and out, but yeah, right now I am indeed.
I think that would be a cool thing to do, definitely. I mean, there's quite a lot of guys from the UK that are in the Discord, a lot of Catdets that are from the UK, so I think they would look forward to something like that for sure.
It'll be damn fun. Meow, you'll have to come in. Meow might be coming to London as well, so we'll do a whole shebang together.
Yeah, that could be fun. We can do it. That'll be fun. Yeah, and do Jupiter Meetup.
I think even like Singapore would be amazing, like to come out there for a lot. That's what me, Chemo, and Wake was talking about actually. It would be nice if we could get a big group from all different places to come over to Singapore and have something over there. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. No, that'll be terrific. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay
that'll be
tuned. There
amazing.
might be some breakpoint things going on. I can't do it, or the Jupiter marketing team will kill me. But mostly Soju, the lady killer, will kill me as well. But anyway, Sax, for people who don't know, could you mind sharing a little bit about your journey? How did you find Jupe? What was your initial experience like?
So someone recommended me Jupe as an aggregator a long time ago, and I loved it because it was just simple and easy, and that's what we like as users. And then actually being part of the community and getting into the DAO and stuff. Obviously, when Jupeary happened, I got a nice airdrop, a couple of thousand Jupe, and I was happy about that for using Jupe. So I was like, okay, brilliant.
On them. Okay.
That's it. And what ended up happening for me is I set loads of limit orders because I was like, this is a no-brainer. Jupe's gonna bang and everything's gonna go great. So I set a few limit orders. They didn't hit, but then I just still brought anyway, and it was all good. But we had our moments in Jupiter where the price was, obviously people were doing their thing with their airdrops and enjoying their cash, and people started flooding, and I was like,
airdrops. They were enjoying the iPads and
exactly,
iPads
holidays and cars
and I distinctively remember that people were just speculating where the airdrop would go, right? Apple. It went to Apple.
So the stock price just go up on Jupiter every day.
It went to Apple.
But what the cool thing was, actually, right? There was the FUD that happened, and then I thought, let me go in the Discord and speak. Give my 2 cents as a user and someone who believes in Jupe, right? So obviously, I was holding my bags, and I was like, look, I've put half of my life savings into Jupe, and I ain't worried. Whatever happens, we're going to be back, and we're going to do well. And I said something along the lines of that, and Meow was in there. Meow was actually speaking to the community and stuff, and calming people down, whoever was panicking or whatever, And he thanked me, and I was like, okay, this is a guy that is someone who's, I see him quite. I don't want to act like too much of a fanboy, but I see him as a big guy in the game. So I'm like, he's actually thanking me. It made me feel good.
Big cat in the game, you mean? I think.
Yeah, big cat in the game. So he thanked me, and I was like, that made me feel more of an affinity to the community. And so when the actual DAO was formed, I started, being more active in the DAO. I got the cadets role, advocated for voice chats in the Discord. Now we have 2 voice chats, one for cadets and one for users that aren't cadets, called Cat's Cafe. And the one for cadets is called Cadets Corner, like a homage to you, Kash. So yeah, it's pretty cool when I'm active. I'm there doing stuff with people like Wake and the other working groups. Speaking with Chemo and speaking with even Organized General, and so many people. It's like we're building a nice voice community. There's at least 20 regular guys who are in and out. Sir Nene. So it's fun. Yes, it's cool. Things are happening.
That is
so actually to the point, right? To the point, actually, just to recap a little bit, right? Because that felt like so long ago, right? But it was actually only, I think, 3 months ago, right?
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking that while I was waiting. It feels like it's been a year or something.
Forever. Yeah, but it's only 3 months ago, right? That's super interesting. And one of the things actually I find to be really awesome, right, is that I think I was on the Kevin When Shit Happens podcast recently with Obama, right? And then I was just saying that I have this intense gratitude to the community. It's really intense, right? It's really, really intense gratitude to the community, right? Because it was how do I put it? Because so few people, right? You know how Twitter and how Twitter and everything is so judgmental, right? It's they know nothing at all, right? They know nothing at all. They haven't used the product. They haven't been part of the community. They don't know anything. But they just read something and they make a judgment call, right? Per se, right? So I think in those moments, right? Then in those moments, then the people that stand up for you, right? They go, hey, I was here, right? This is what happens, right? I think that's so important. They're just so important, right? Yeah. And I think and obviously I think we are okay now. Obviously I think there's no more FUD by far.
Definitely more than okay now. We're flying.
Yeah. But it was really intense, right? You know, yeah. And I think, and thank you, Sax, thank you again. Thanks for being there.
Thank you.
For everything.
You deserved it. You was out there doing your thing, and you deserved it. So I just said, you know, what anyone would say who appreciated you. You know, that's all.
Yeah, actually, so the funny thing was this, right? I talked to Kash about this for a while. I think lots of people were telling me, right, that like, okay, you know, I should just like not say anything, just let people finish that thing, right? But I didn't agree with that, mostly because I think that when there's a difference when your integrity, right, is being attacked, right? You know, right? And obviously you should apologize if there's something wrong, right? But for things that are just wrong, right, you have to fight. You know, you really have to fight. Right, you know, so I think I remember though that was actually honestly that was intense looking back, but actually looking back that was kind of fun, right? Just going on to no seriously, going to Unchained, going on to Laura Shin, going to Trustless, going to Defiant, going on to all the biggest podcasts, right? And just jamming, right? And coming to community and talking about stuff, right, on Twitter, everything. Yeah, so I think it's fine, you know. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, there's a line I like that the past is attractive because it is drained of fear, which, you know, looking back, it's all good times. At the time, it was a tricky thing. But what makes all of those difficult times more tolerable? Having a community that actually believes, that kind of sees the long-term vision, that's bought into it. And Sax is obviously a part of that. So Sax, appreciate you, man. Is there anything else you want to say to all the cadets out there?
You see the camera, like I'm trying to find my way to it. Jupe for Jupe. That's it. That's all I want to say.
J for J in the chat.
J for J.
Actually, we have acronyms now. We have gang signs as well. Is that where Jupiter is going over here? I'm into
always,
it.
man. Let's bring everything. Gang signs, Jupiter, handshakes, everything.
Let's
we do this. Hey, sex. We do this.
Yo.
Like, let's do this.
What is this?
1, 2, 3.
Oh. All right, man. Thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for being part of the community. And
thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sex again. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Seriously. Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers, Sax. Good having you on. All right, folks. I know I had said that this one was
so great, man. So great. Like
that's the thing.
So great, you know. Yeah.
God, I love the Catdets Corner, man. It's so much fun.
It's so great.
Like it really. There's a lot of lip service to community out there. Anyone who's kind of been in crypto for a while has seen this, where people with like whatever, you know, like 20 people who follow them on Twitter, like, oh, our community is the greatest and stuff. It's a different thing to have community of like true believers who stick around through the hard times, onboard other people, hang out in real life, and are like doing fun shit together, hang out virtually. Like it's cool to see. Is all I guess I'm trying to say. All right, folks. I know we've been going long. I appreciate everybody sticking around. We're going to have to make these calls 90 minutes going forward because that's just what's happening. But if you stuck around to the end, here is the not so surprise POAP. It is beautiful as always. Shout out to Srijini. Can I get a W Srijini in the chat for making this? As always, you can scan this QR code. The link has just been popped into the chat on YouTube as well to get the POAP for this call. A beautiful wallet awaits you if you have all these POAPs because they are.
So now they're doing all the J4J thing. There'll probably be a pretty big J4J update coming up in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll make a really big J4J update coming up.
A lot of teasers today, Meow. You're in a very teasing kind of mood, I see.
Yeah, June, man. June's like everything happened. June,
it's all happening, folks. Definitely come through. If you can't see, if you're not able to scan it for whatever reason, you can find the link in the YouTube chat. I see some folks on Twitter who might need a little bit of help over there. But J4J for June, it says antimatter from the working groups. Something big is going to be happening over there. Folks, make sure to come back next week. We have a really exciting planetary call for you with a bunch of new announcements. And then basically just come back every week, quite frankly, because there's always exciting things that are going on. Stay tuned for the Uplink budget proposal coming in next week as well. Would love people's comments, their feedback, and so on. But now I'm being told we got to play the video, the When Working Group, shout out to them, the closing song for the planetary call every time.
I give a second chance to get there. I know what you're feeling still there. All the way it makes me feel the love.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us on the POAP side. I'm being told that the Twitter might be a little bit slow, so you can link your Discord to make that happen a bit faster for you. Don't worry if you don't get it right this next minute. It'll be coming, of course. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. We will see you next time, same place, for even more Jupiter goodness. Goodbye. And